What's up, guys? How's it going? It's Legitsky, and today I wanted to upload something just a little different. This is a Halo 4 PC ranked squad battle gameplay that I played just a few days ago. This was with Avoided, myself, Lionakis, Inferntality, AC Burns Red, and What the Fate. We were searching sixes in the playlist. This is around 30 high. We're currently the highest ranks in the playlist, 5 of the highest ranks. And we matched up against these guys, Mayem 4G, couple of BTB sweats in the Halo 4 playlist. This playlist is currently being offered with BR skin and DMR skin incentives, so a lot of people have been playing, so let's go ahead and get started. So obviously this is Longbow, and we're actually playing Dominion. These are OG Dominion settings, pre-TU, which means it's a massive power weapon fest. All the resupplies are going to be massive power weapons, such as saws, incinerator cannons, rockets, etc., depending on the map. So I initiate the capture on Alpha, and I tell my whole team to go Bravo, because Bravo is the important one for us to get. The home capture requires only one guy. Now here, I kind of choke. I don't know what was going on here, but I was fairly certain that I had this guy killed off the rip, but I don't know. I was playing on 60 FPS this game because I was told it would improve my ability to four-shot people, but that didn't end up being the case for my aiming. My aiming was kind of sloppy this game because of that. I was adjusting from 180 frames to 60 frames, so this is kind of awkward for me playing on that kind of change. So off the rip, I'm going to go ahead and take that railgun back to our base, and I'm going to wait for the Wraith. Now, getting that Wraith control here off the fortification of our home base is going to be extremely important because I can now use this thing to go on the offensive or play a hard defense position. So, in this case, I choose to go on the offensive because I'm very confident in our team. You know, this is a team I've been running with pretty consistently. Lionakis, Inferntality, and Avoided, chief among which are people I've been grinding very hard with. Want to give a shout out to guys like Ghost on Live, Steven RG95, Twisted Minds, King Nick, Overbrook Boy, J Talents, Ascendants. Quite a few guys I've been running with pretty consistently that we've been having good games with. So, off the rip, I do die with that Wraith. That was a pretty poor play in my opinion. That was honestly one of the worst plays of the game, but it doesn't really have a lasting effect simply because we have control over Bravo and our home base is pretty secure. So we get the resupply and we're going to go ahead and grab these weapons. I tell Lion to grab his sniper, and one thing that's really bad about aiming on 60 FPS is the sniping is so much less consistent. It's really unfortunate, so I kind of found that to be difficult. Overall, though, the shot registration was better. Honestly, I keep talking about this, but it is preference. Whatever you want to play on, whatever settings you want to play on. I know people who play with VSync on. I know people who play on default FOV. Really doesn't matter. It's all about what you prefer. So I do want to talk about the playlist a little bit. This is a good playlist, in my opinion. I think it has some quirks that are a bit controversial, but let's start with the positive. So the positives are, this is the closest thing we've gotten to ranked BTB, and it's actually really fun. You have a lot of diversity, and the game types are, you know, pretty broad in terms of their diversity and how dynamic they are. So it's a never-ending battle of Slayers and Flags, Extraction, Dominion, etc. There's a lot of variety in this playlist. The other thing, too, is obviously since it's ranked, it's very competitive, and the nameplate, not the nameplate, but the BR skin, DMR skin incentives make it to where players are much more incentivized to run in teams and to try to get their ranks while the playlist is still relatively new. So definitely a lot of fun games to be had. Now, the positives are not really outweighing the negatives in my opinion. There are quite a few negatives, chief among which is, in my opinion, the strict rank matching. So strict rank matching works really well in playlists like Team Slayer, Team Hardcore, Team Doubles, etc. But in a playlist like this, which is quite niche and where it's hard to find games, strict rank matching I think does not work well. In Invasion, there's no rank matching whatsoever, but there is strict party matching, which in my opinion should have been the way this playlist should have been structured. Obviously, I'm complaining from the top because my team's the highest rank in the playlist, and this is obviously kind of a niche issue, but at the same time, you have to consider that the longevity of this playlist is going to be dependent on the fact that people are going to struggle to find games, and honestly, I don't see this playlist lasting too much longer, so for that reason, I would hope that we would get this playlist updated in the future with less severe rank matching. The other issue I have is back to the diversity of game types. Yes, there's a lot of variety, That's a good thing in some ways, but in many ways it's not good, simply because a lot of the game types aren't great. I have to admit, game types like Dominion do not take much skill. It requires a lot of crouching with power weapons and such, which is not my sort of preferred method of playing DTB. I much prefer to play more arena-style BR matches with a little bit of vehicle play. Now, it's not to say that this is like a horrible thing, but the skill gap is not very high in that regard. Other issues I have are obviously the respawns. On the Insider, the respawns were 10 seconds. On the retail build, they are 4 seconds. And for that reason, it's extremely difficult, even against average teams, to leverage some kind of control over their base and try to do the objective. Many instances, we will play games that are stalemates up until the very end, and we barely get a cap, even though we outslay the enemy team by a severe amount. That's simply because the enemy teams respawn too fast. So that's another issue. Another issue is more of an issue with Halo 4 itself. I have to admit, Halo 4 on PC plays extremely well, but the sad truth is, in my opinion, Halo 4 on PC is probably the lowest skill gap Halo game I've ever played. I feel like the aiming is ridiculously easy, controller, whatever, sniping is ridiculously easy, and I feel like for that reason the gunplay is a bit trash, if I have to be totally harsh. I mean, as far as BR engagements go, players who are in a completely different league in terms of individual skill and mechanical skill, their gap is much smaller on Halo 4 PC due to the fact that players have an easier time aiming. The BR basically aims itself, and on higher frames it's even easier, so I do find that to be extremely frustrating. You tend to have harder games than you should for that reason, and harder engagements for that reason. Also, PC is, due to crossplay, PC is severely overpowered compared to console, so console players are having a really hard time competing with PC players, which again, you know, I would like to see some kind of balancing done in the future for that reason. Other than that, though, I mean, I'm having fun. I'm going to continue to play, and I'll keep you guys updated. This is one of the only gameplays I can upload, unfortunately, simply due to the fact that the Halo 4 PC is really screwed up on MCC, which is a big problem in my opinion for content creators, so I'm not live recording games. This is just straight out of theater, and you know, I'm sad to say that this is all I got for you guys so far, simply because all the other games I've played, which were really close, are not really available to me right now. So I get this final Wraith, and we're looking pretty close to winning here. This guy shoots 2 rockets at me. Unfortunate for him, I'm going to go ahead and take him out. The Wraith control is extremely important on this map, more so than the Banshee in my opinion, when it comes to the Dominion. We're going to go ahead and win that game, guys. I kind of rambled a bit there, but let's going to go ahead and wrap things up. So this game, I went ahead and had 17 kills and 5 deaths, and I had 2 base captures. So I feel like I did the best on the team for sure. I did a lot of OBJ, and I had the most kills. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Be sure to drop a comment. If you're playing this playlist, let me know. Let me know your thoughts. Give me the full rundown, all the details. And I'll talk to you guys on the next upload. Later.